Today I'm going to share with you the details of three recent God-given dreams and a powerful visitation which detail a World War III type event which will lead to the end of this current Western world system. I've spoken of these in previous videos, but not to the detail I will share today. About 2 months ago, which is in May 2024, I was in my sleep and I heard a loud vibrational noise like a fast humming vibrational sound quickly approaching me. I quickly realized that this was a spiritual visitation coming to me. I was then lifted up out of my physical body and I immediately started flying at high speed, escorted by a messenger of God. After some time, I was now flying down over a major modern Western city that I don't recognize, but I swooped down, seeing people lying down on the pavements, and then I flew up again to the messenger who had led me there. I now say to the messenger how awesome this experience is, as it was a real buzz. Now the messenger told me to fly down again and take a closer look. So I obey and fly down closer to the ground, and I could now see more detail of the people who I had glimpsed at earlier, lying all over the ground. I now comprehended that there was many people laid out everywhere, as if they had all been killed in an instant without any other notable impacts to the buildings around. There was no life whatsoever, so the people of the city had been instantly killed in what I assumed to be some kind of high-tech electromagnetic weaponry that kills everyone but leaves the infrastructure standing. I instantly broke down into uncontrollable tears as I feel the grief that the Bible describes of when the people see the judgment on Mystery Babylon when it falls in a literal hour. Now, the next thing I know, that I'm sitting on a bench in a large field, and my wife comes over to comfort me while I'm in this great distress. I then awake from this whole experience. Now, following this visitation, I had unanswered questions about what I saw. It felt like the end of our Western civilization, as in the end of this Babylonian Western so-called democracy that we live under, with a massive EMP type of attack. This is why I was so distressed, as I live and do business in this current Western world system as well, and it had come to an end. But I don't know for sure whether it's just one city being attacked or the whole system in multiple great cities of the West. Thankfully, over the next couple of weeks, God would give me 3 more dreams clarifying these questions. Now, in the first dream, which had occurred a couple of weeks after the visitation, I was at a funeral of an old school friend who, in the dream, had just died. Now, another one of my old school friends had placed the deceased friend lying down on a table, and he started cutting away all of the meat off his body until only the bones remained. We then went into the ceremony, and as we were in there, the deceased friend came bounding into the room through the doors, and we looked at him as if to say, "You were dead," but he joyfully proclaimed that it wasn't him. In the same night, I had another dream, and I was doing a job for my old boss, who I worked for when I was young. And he gave me a job to measure the foundations of a structure that we were working on, and I looked at the measuring device, and I really didn't know what I was doing. But I gave it a go anyway. My boss then went upstairs into the structure, which was now wobbling all over the place, as if it could fall over in any minute. I said goodbye in my head to the boss, as I was thinking that this would probably be the last time that I was going to see him, and then the dream stopped. These 2 dreams came one after another, and I will interpret them shortly. However, after another few days, I had another related dream that I'll also share. This time I was standing in inner city streets, and there was a couple of large pigeons sitting on the streets that I wanted to destroy. I tried to gather people around to give them a message of how we should come against these pigeons, which was going to take a real battle with weapons, as the pigeons needed to be destroyed. The people were all in separate groups, busy concentrating on different things, and I couldn't get them all together to give instructions and focus on the battle we had to undertake. And only a small group gathered, and only a few people had basic weapons. While I was attempting to communicate to and gather these different factions of people for the battle, I saw a great army of winged creatures that I'd never seen before now gathered together and well organized for a battle against us. These creatures had wings like fast moving bee wings or locusts, and they flew through the city where we had gathered and devastated us all in a very quick attack. I was then left in an empty room with another person in it, and I said to that person that they sure did equip this army well. And I also said to the person that you could have equipped us like that as well. The dream then came to an end. So let's interpret what I've seen here in the three dreams. My old friend, whose body was cut apart till only the bones remained, represents the body of the old world system that we currently live in, which will be completely gutted with only the bare bones remaining. Now, my old boss in the second dream, in the shaky building structure, also represents the old world system that we currently live in, which is about to collapse at any moment. The pigeons in the third dream represent the prophetic end of this age message I have received from God, as in messenger pigeons. I attempt to gather different factions of believers to prepare them for this battle against the pigeons, but very few are prepared, and I can't organize the people together as they are busy concentrating on different things in separate groups. I did gather a small group, but we only had a few basic weapons. The attack that left us desolate was high tech, and we had no chance of battling the well prepared army. The person I talked to in the room represented the Lord, who has allowed this army to organize with high tech weaponry to wipe out the people. The people of this city had minimal weapons that have no chance against this high tech attack that desolates everybody. So, with this extra detail from these dreams, I believe that this high tech attack, which leaves many dead and lying in the streets, may be an attack on either one major Western city or many major Western cities at the same time. But either way, the corresponding damage will quickly spread through the entire world and result in the complete destruction and collapse of this Western world Babylonian fake democratic system. And only the bare bones are going to be left. I believe that these events will not only be an end to the current world system, but also ultimately an end of this age, as any other attempts of re-establishing a new system will fail, and Jesus will return to establish a new age. Please bear in mind that there will likely be other major events soon to happen as well. But in this video, I don't want to speculate by adding in any other info, as I believe that this warning is the most important thing to know right now. So please hear this message. Prepare for the end of this fake Western democracy and the destruction of those within it, and make sure you are right with Jesus. If you live in the countryside, you'll probably escape the worst of this attack. So if you can live in the country, I would do that. However, if you cannot relocate, I would be prepared to up and go if the Lord one day says to you, leave the city now. Thanks for listening, and I pray that you find peace with God before these events take place.